True success isn't measured by the car you drive, the house you live in, or the clothes you wear. True success, real, lasting success, is what remains when your life is over. Jim Rohn once said, "All good things must be taught and built, not simply inherited." Today we explore a deeper journey, the legacy of financial freedom, not just earning money, but building meaning, not just achieving wealth, but passing wisdom. Stay with me until the end, because what you're about to hear isn't just motivation, it's a blueprint, a roadmap to a life that will echo long after you're gone. 1. Building wealth that outlives you. Wealth isn't just accumulation, it's architecture. It's a blueprint carved from discipline, sacrifice, and intentionality. To build wealth that survives beyond your lifetime, you must think like a builder, not a consumer. Most people chase money as though it is a fleeting opportunity, a thing to catch, grab, spend, and repeat. But wealth that endures is built differently. It begins with a long-term vision, a clarity of purpose that transforms each financial decision into a brick that either strengthens or weakens the structure you're creating. When you build wealth with intention, you stop focusing on momentary pleasure and start prioritizing generational stability. You begin to see that wealth is not only the money in your accounts, but also the systems you put in place. Investment habits, disciplined spending, diversified assets, and the mindset to maintain them. This is what creates a foundation strong enough to support not just your life, but the lives of those who come after you. True wealth does not beg for attention. It does not require validation. It is quiet and consistent, growing in the background, protected by strategy rather than spectacle. Flashy purchases might impress the present, but they rarely secure the future. Wealth built to last is secure, insured, invested, and well managed. It understands risk, but does not fear it. It seeks growth, but does not chase recklessness. Your responsibility is not only to earn money, but to ensure that money earns for you. Passive income, compounding returns, protected assets, and financial literacy all act as pillars in your structure. Creating systems, not just income streams, is what separates those who build temporary comfort from those who create generational strength. Anyone can spend money. Few can build legacies. When you make strategic choices today, saving rather than splurging, investing rather than consuming, planning rather than improvising, you spare your family from the burden of repairing the damage of short-term thinking. The greatest gift you can give future generations is the freedom to build on your foundation instead of starting from zero or worse, from debt. Wealth should serve a purpose beyond yourself. It should elevate your family, empower your community, and inspire those who follow your path. Building wealth that outlives you means understanding that your story is part of a much larger narrative. You are a single chapter in a book that continues long after you're gone. Write your chapter with intention. Build what others can stand on. Leave behind a legacy, not just memories. 2. Teaching the next generation. Knowledge unshared becomes a wasted treasure. Too many people focus on accumulating wealth, but fail to ensure the next generation knows how to navigate it. Teaching the next generation is not just a duty, it is the true heart of legacy. Wealth unsupported by wisdom becomes a burden, not a blessing. It can disappear faster than it was earned, unraveling in the hands of those who were never taught how to steward it. Education is more than lecturing about money. It is modeling respect for resources, demonstrating discipline, showing patience, and practicing healthy financial habits. Children and young adults learn far more from what you consistently do than from what you occasionally say. The next generation must see you budgeting, saving, investing, delaying gratification, and making thoughtful decisions. Your actions become their blueprint. Teach them the value of money before they ever touch it. Teach them that a dollar has weight, that every dollar can work, grow, and multiply when handled with care. Show them how to build credit, understand interest, budget effectively, evaluate opportunities, and protect themselves from financial predators. Teach them how wealth is preserved through humility, consistency, and informed choices. A dollar given is temporary support. Financial knowledge given is permanent empowerment. Many parents believe they are helping their children by providing for them financially. But if that provision is not paired with education, it becomes incomplete. Without wisdom, inheritance becomes confusion. With wisdom, even a small inheritance becomes powerful. Legacy is not only what you leave to them, but also what you leave in them. Teach them generosity. Teach them discipline. Teach them the purpose behind money. Not to worship it, not to fear it, but to utilize it as a tool for security, opportunity, and impact. Guide them to see wealth not as a finish line, but as a responsibility. Community matters too. Your lessons should go beyond your home. Share what you know with the youth around you, your nieces, nephews, neighbors, or anyone who lacks guidance. Knowledge becomes more valuable the more it is shared. A community that is financially literate becomes resilient, empowered, and capable of growth. Do not just pass wealth, pass wisdom. Wealth fades without guidance, but wisdom sustains wealth. Legacy begins with education, and without education, legacy ends with you. 3. Creating impact through giving. The ultimate measure of wealth is the lives it touches. Money alone is neutral. It gains meaning only through the intention behind it. Giving transforms wealth from a personal resource into a force of impact. Some believe giving diminishes what they have, but in truth, giving is planting. What you plant in others grows in ways that charts, portfolios, and balance sheets will never fully capture. Giving is not limited to financial contributions. You can give time, mentorship, emotional support, opportunities, and encouragement. Every act of giving is an investment in someone else's potential. When you give, you participate in a cycle of growth that extends far beyond yourself. The best legacies are not built on accumulation, they are built on contribution. Generosity shifts your relationship with wealth. It teaches gratitude, perspective, and purpose. It reminds you that abundance is not measured solely by what you keep, but by what you can afford to release. When you give, you acknowledge that wealth has responsibilities, not just privileges. You recognize that you are a steward of what you have, not merely an owner. Impactful giving doesn't require extravagance, it requires intention. Small acts matter. Listening to someone who feels unheard, supporting a young person who needs guidance, helping a family in crisis, or investing in community programs. These moments create ripples that extend far beyond the act itself. A single seed can grow a forest. Money has power, but money guided by generosity has purpose. When your wealth is aligned with compassion, it becomes transformative. It can change trajectories, restore hope, and create opportunities where none existed. Giving is how you ensure that your influence outlives your presence. True wealth shines brightest when it lifts someone else. When your success inspires, empowers, or uplifts another person, your legacy becomes more than personal. It becomes communal. A life centered around giving becomes a life of meaning, and meaning outlasts everything. Build wealth, yes. Protect it, grow it, and pass it on. But never forget that the greatest measure of your wealth is the impact it has on the world around you. In the end, the seeds you plant in others will become the most enduring part of your legacy. 4. Living by principles, not pressure. To live by principles rather than pressure is to commit yourself to a form of inner architecture that does not sway with the winds of public opinion or the unpredictable shifts of external circumstances. A legacy is not built by popularity, approval, or applause, because those things rise and fall with moods, trends, and the fleeting interests of crowds. A legacy is built by something quieter, more disciplined, and far more enduring. The unwavering choice to stand on the foundation of your values even when the world tries to push you away from them. When you live by principles, your actions stop being reactions. They stop being shaped by what others think or expect. Instead, they become deliberate expressions of who you choose to be. The pressure to conform, to perform, to impress, it never ends, and those who anchor their identity in these forces eventually exhaust themselves into collapse. Pressure builds a life that looks strong from the outside but is hollow within. It creates success that is noisy but unstable, like a tower built quickly with cheap material. But principles, by contrast, allow you to build slowly, deliberately, and with depth. Principles keep you steady when others panic. They keep you focused when others drift. They allow you to walk forward with clarity even when no one is cheering, and sometimes even when people are doubting you. Discipline is the soil from which principles grow into actions. Not the harsh, punitive discipline that people often fear, but the consistent, self-respecting discipline that reminds you who you are and what you stand for. When others fold under distractions, your discipline holds you upright. When trends tempt people to abandon their better judgment, discipline keeps your compass aligned. When the world moves too fast, discipline grounds you in deliberate pace. And through this consistency, principles become more than ideas. They become habits, behaviors, and ultimately, the architecture of your entire life. Wealth built on pressure is dangerous because it depends on the constant maintenance of performance and pleasing others. It requires that you always keep the mask perfect, that you never slip, never rest, never reveal your humanity. It is the kind of wealth that forces you to hustle not out of purpose, but out of fear. Fear of losing status, losing approval, losing what was never truly secure. But wealth built on principles endures because it is rooted in something stable. It is earned through integrity, not impression. It is grown through wisdom, not desperation. It is protected not by anxiety, but by the depth of the values that shaped it. Living by principles means letting your values guide your choices even when those choices cost you comfort. It means saying no when pressure demands yes. It means taking the harder path when the easy path compromises who you are. It means accepting that you may not always be celebrated in the present, but you will be respected in the long run. Principles carve a form of strength that stress cannot replicate, because stress is reactive while principle is intentional. Stress makes decisions frantic. Principle makes them clear. In the end, your legacy will not be measured by how often people clapped for you, but by how consistently you lived in alignment with the truths you refused to abandon. It will be measured by how your actions reflected strength, not stress, how you showed the world not what pressure molded you into, but what principles shaped you to become. 5. Designing a life of contribution. A meaningful life does not arise by coincidence or convenience. It is not the result of drifting, reacting, or waiting for the world to hand you purpose. A meaningful life is intentionally designed, piece by piece, choice by choice, moment by moment. It is crafted like a work of architecture, constructed with clarity, shaped with discipline, and animated by the desire to contribute something of value. Contribution is not a phase or a task to be checked off. It is a way of living that transforms both the giver and the world around them. To design a life of contribution, you must begin with an essential question. What impact do you want your existence to have on others? Not what status you want, not what titles you want, not what possessions you want, but what effect your life should leave behind. Contribution shifts the center of your life outward. It turns you from a consumer of the world into a builder of the world. It transforms your energy from self-preservation to service, and in the process it creates a deeper, more durable form of purpose. Contribution requires intention. It is not accidental. It demands thought, direction, and long-view thinking. It asks you to build systems, not just moments. Systems that help others move forward, systems that simplify burdens, systems that educate, heal, support, or inspire. When you design your life around contribution, you stop asking, "What can I take?" and begin asking, "What can I create that others can depend on long after I'm gone?" Serving others does not mean diminishing yourself. It means expanding the reach of your strengths. It means using your abilities in ways that matter beyond your personal comfort. Some contribute through teaching, others through building, others through leading or mentoring or creating. Contribution can be quiet or loud, personal or global, visible or invisible. What matters is not the scale, but the intention, the deliberate choice to shape your life into something useful. In a world overflowing with people chasing consumption, comfort, and status, being a builder sets you apart. Consumers move through life taking in what others create, always searching for the next source of satisfaction. Builders, however, leave footprints for others to follow. They create tools, ideas, systems, stories, solutions, and institutions that stretch beyond their own lifespan. A builder plants trees whose shade they may never sit under. They understand that meaning is found not in accumulation, but in contribution. When you design a life of contribution, you also design a legacy, not an inheritance of wealth, but an inheritance of impact. People may forget what you owned, but they will not forget the ways you elevated others. They will not forget the doors you opened, the burdens you lifted, the wisdom you shared, or the systems you created that continued to serve long after you stopped. Live so that when people speak your name, they speak of your influence rather than your image. Live so that your actions echo longer than your presence. Live not for the praise of the moment, but for the gratitude of generations. That is how a life of contribution is designed, through intention, service, and the unwavering commitment to create something that outlasts your footsteps. The goal is not simply to get rich, but to become valuable and to pass that value on. Wealth fades, but character, contribution, and wisdom echo through generations. Build wisely, live generously, leave something worth remembering.